Hi there guys, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to another Water Soluble Wednesday. We're going to do this video a little different today. We are going to be taking a look at Doodlehog Watercolor set, but we are going to do the unboxing, the swatching, painting demo, and review all in the same video, guys. So buckle up, buckle in. This is gonna be a long one, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. So, watercolor paints, premium artist half pans, 36 colors by Doodlehog is what we're tackling. This is what the package looks like when I received it from Amazon. That was the front of the package. If you flip it over on the back, it says watercolor paints, premium artist half pans, 36 vibrant shades of color, and then it gives you a color swatch with the color name to correspond to each one of them. So you do get color names at least 36 with 36 brilliant hues in one water brush pen. Premium watercolor paints by Doodlehog offer the perfect combination of quality and convenience in one compact carrying case. Designed with beginner to intermediate artists in mind, this set of half-pan non-toxic watercolors let you take your art anywhere. The quick-drying paints featuring beautiful, highly pigmented colors will bring your work to life. Your set includes one refillable water brush pen with a flexible nylon tip. This self-moisturizing portable brush is the perfect companion to your watercolors. Easy to squeeze and grip, easy to take on the go, and easy to clean. Showcase your art. Join our community of artists on Instagram. Follow and tag at Doodlehog Crafts using hashtag watercolor art so we can check out your work. Oh, that's pretty cool. As a small business, your participation, reviews, and feedbacks are all an important part of our livelihood. Thank you for sharing your experience. Happiness guaranteed. We care about your happiness. In fact, we guarantee it. If something's not right with your product, you can email us. We'll respond with a real solution from a real person. Yeah, and then it gives an email address of emily@doodlehog.com. So you can email Emily. Doodlehog LLC, our rights reserved, designed in the USA, and then Doodlehog's website. The logo again conforms to ASTM D4236 regulation. They're non-toxic. There's an item number, a batch number, and then it lets you know that the paints are made in China, although they are designed in the USA. So that is what our packaging looks like. So let's go ahead and get these open here so we can take a look at everything else. All right, so we got those popped open. Just gonna open these on up. And let's see what we have here. So we're opening the box, and it looks like the palette is wrapped in plastic on the inside. Let's take that off. And we got a pretty nice black tin here with the little Doodlehog logo in the bottom right corner. The palette does have a ring on the back so that you can hold it with painting on the go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like there's 4 wheels on the top. Let's go ahead and pop this open. That opens pretty easily. No problems there. Okay, and we have some paperwork on the inside. Primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors. So it looks to be color wheels. Giving you some information about those. Okay, so we have a color swatch here on the inside. Again, with the listed names. And I'm assuming this is the order they're in the palette here. Let's take a look and see. Why not? That didn't want to come open too well. There we go. It was just kind of pushed down in there. All right. So yeah, it looks like that color swatch is the same order that the paints are in. There's the water brush. We'll look at that in a minute. The rest of this pamphlet is just full of information. It gives you watercolor techniques. It tells you more about the watercolor paints, taking care of your paints, cleaning your water brush pen. So yeah, this is definitely targeted towards beginners and intermediate painters, because it has all these different steps and guides that you would not typically get in brochuring or in advertisement for professional grades of paints. But it does classify these as premium artist paints. So we're going to test that out and see what we think. Yeah, so pretty cool. And then there is a color swatching card that comes inside the palette. I'm not sure what type of paper this is. It may be watercolor paper. It looks to have some pretty nice sizing on it, and it's already blocked off and the names are already there. So I may use this, or I may not. I may have to use the paper, you know, watercolor paper. Make sure it's 140-pound watercolor paper that I swatch on, since that's the paper that I use most, or mixed media paper. So here we have it. The paints are arranged in pretty decent order. From first glance, there seems to be some really nice colors. There's a lot of greens in that set. Yeah, so they come in your standard half pan. Looks like they pop out here. As you can see, the thickness of that. I'm assuming it's glued down. I was going to try to pull that out. But yeah, this your standard half pan, and it pops into the trays that's got the collapsible little part on it to help hold it in. Yeah, so and it looks like there's enough room there to put down more half pans if you wanted to, with maybe like a magnet or a little poster putty. That tray will remove, and you have 4 wheels on the top for mixing, and then you also have this little additional mixing area with the tin. But I don't like it when they lay all the way down. They don't level out so that the paint won't run. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how effective that is, but there you have that. And you can remove and use these wells down here. You have all these indentions down here for mixing as well, if you wanted to. So I say a lot of mixing space in that tin. Very sturdy tin. It's not flimsy at all. So let's take a look at the water brush. Pretty large water brush here. Cap removes pretty easily. Pretty long nylon bristles on it. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably about a number 6, which is standard. It screws off to the left like most of them do to fill the reservoir. I'm sorry, to fill the barrel. And then you would just screw that back on. So yeah, pretty standard water brush. I like it. It's big. I mean, because all of my other water brushes are kind of short, medium size and short. So I like the fact that this one is large. Yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm going to definitely use that. So their first impressions, pretty straightforward. That's what the packaging looks like. That's what the paints look like. Of course, they are in half pan, so they're already dried down. We don't have to wait on any of that. So we will move on to swatching the paints now that we have taken a look at the packaging and what the paints look like. And for all intents and purposes, a really nice tin. All right, so let's swatch these out. So here I am going to be swatching the paints out for you guys. I have sped the video up, of course, because I don't want this particular part of the video to take too long, but it's not moving so fast that you will not be able to see, you know, how the paints perform in pretty much a wet wash, and how they operate with control and flow. I'm not going to do too much talking during this particular part of the video. I'm actually going to let some music kick in and let you guys watch the swatching as the music play, because I'm trying to save my final thoughts of the paints for the review section of the video. So yeah, you guys go ahead and enjoy the swatching, and I'll see you on the demo, the painting demo side. guys, here we are entering the demo section of the video. Once again, I have sped the video up, but not so much that you won't be able to see what's going on. This is a beginner-friendly demo, so please feel free to grab whatever paints you may have on hand and paint along. I sketched out a little bit of a landscape here, and I'm going to let the music kick in, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, so here we have it, the entire process. We have gone through up to reviewing the paints now. My palette is dirty because I have been using them. And before doing this review section, I did take time after doing the initial demo to do another painting and a few little side paintings. I just wanted to kind of get some more practice in with the paints, kind of get a feel for them a little bit better, see how they wear before I did the review section of this video. So now let's jump into it. All of the unboxing, we got to see everything that was on the boxing, how the paints look. So the paints swatched out pretty nicely, actually. The colors are really pretty, I must admit. I really do think that the colors are pretty. I love some of the oranges, the yellows. There's not many reds per se. There's pinks. You get your violets and purples, but there's only like 2 reds, and they give the names of each of the paints, like their names. They're not necessarily the pigment name for what you would expect. So you do have to kind of contend with that. There's something to think about. But I would admit, I do believe that, you know, for all intents and purposes, they handled really nicely being swatched out. I did a watery layer at first just to see if I could get some granulation from any of them. It is a really economical paint, so, you know, I wasn't expecting much. They did okay. If there is any granulation, I'm pretty sure it's fillers, you know. But they swatched out pretty nicely. They glazed or they layered okay. Some of them seem to want to lift. For instance, like this bright purple indigo here. It kind of wanted to lift as I was trying to glaze it. Same thing with the raspberry color, or the color that's called raspberry, should I say. But other than that, I really didn't have any issues. I really like the color palette from like this very bottom row. And this very bottom row, if I'm not mistaken, starts here with Rich Jade and goes from here over. I really love those colors. With the addition of adding the lime green and one of the reds, you know, one of the primaries. Here it will probably be the Harbor Blue. I think that's the one that's a little bit closer to maybe like an ultramarine, maybe. Yeah, I would have to say so. That midnight navy really gives me phthalo blue. I really feel, but you know, I'm just really guessing because there aren't any pigment numbers or any light fast ratings included with the paints. So I'm just really kind of guessing here. I could be wrong, but so let's take a look at some of the testing that I did. And I did do this off camera after swatching the paints with you guys. So I did an opacity test, and the paints are pretty transparent. I don't see much settlement on the black marker line. There's a little bit with the lighter colors, maybe like the more neon of the colors. The white is okay. I'm pretty sure more of a white just to add body to the paints and kind of give them a gouache effect. That would be my assumption. it's the really light colors that you see a little settlement with. But other than that, the paints are pretty transparent, which was a good thing. The black is pretty opaque, and you can layer it to get it darker. So that was a pretty good thing. It dries down matte and flat. So I did some color mixing testing here. Now I did cross temperature color mixing this time, using, you know, different, I do believe I used the vibrant yellow as my warm yellow. I used marigold as, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, marigold is here. Yeah. For the reds, it was deep coral and raspberry, of course. And then for the blues, I used Harbor Blue as well as Midnight Navy, if I'm not mistaken. So those were the colors that was used in the color mixing testing. Got some really vibrant colors. These are some colors that were not already included in the 36 count set, which is good because you can mix. I mean, you can actually pull, you know, your primaries from the 36 and just use those to paint with, especially if you are a beginner and you're really trying to learn how to do color mixing. So, and work on your color theories, which is something that I've been trying to do a lot more lately myself. So next I did a salt test. The paints reacted really well to salt. So there wasn't any issue there. Here is where I was going to do a lift test, which in classic form, I'm going to do really quickly with you guys as soon as I can find. Here we go. Do I have a paper towel? I do. First time in a long time that I've had one when I needed it. So let's see what we got here. We're just gonna go straight down there. Let's see what we get. Not bad. Not bad. They lift okay. They do. They lift okay. There's a little staining. You know, I was really kind of scrubbing a little there because this paper can take it. This is that Master's Touch, that older Master's Touch paper. I haven't tried it since they started doing the repackaging of the brand. So let's see. All right, so that's okay. Not a big, you know, not a big whoop, so to speak. They lifted okay. I still see some staining there on the paper, but as I was saying earlier, I noticed that some of them lifted once, or the paint reactivated and wanted to lift and mix in with the second layer when I was trying to glaze with just certain colors, not all of them. So, but overall, pretty consistent formulation, I believe, as far as the paints are concerned. They pretty much perform and operate all the same way. They give you some really bright and vibrant mixtures. With the primary colors, they're going to react well to salt, and they will lift enough to get a mid highlighting effect. So I think that's pretty cool. So you guys know that the paintings that were done with the paints were this one, which is the one that was done in this particular video. As the demo, which came out pretty well. I just really wanted to use the paints in a really watery form. I'm working on landscaping, and I was just kind of playing around with them to see the type of effects I can get. I think it turned out pretty well. You know, it's a beginner demo, a kind of a beginner painting, something to just kind of get warmed up. But it really gave me a chance to experience how the paints really worked, and I was able to do some color mixing here. If you guys remember in the video, they lifted in order to give me some highlights on the rock area. The paints kind of stay, you know, they don't flow. They don't have a real vast flow to them, so they kind of stay wherever you put them, which is an advantage if you're a beginner painter, I believe, because, you know, you're kind of learning to control your water to paint ratio, and you don't really kind of want paints that run all over the place and run away from you. Well, this is my opinion anyway. I believe that it's going to be more beneficial to a person that's beginning than a paint that kind of whooshes all over the place like Core. I think Core is a wonderful paint. I love them, love them, love them, love them. Don't get me wrong. But I think they may be a little overwhelming to a beginner who is not used to controlling watercolor paints, or wait a minute, let me rephrase, I'm sorry, who has not learned yet that you can't control watercolor paints. You have to go with them. So I think this gives the illusion of a little more control because the paints kind of stay where you put them. So it turned out pretty well. Off camera, I did this painting. I wanted to kind of do a more serious painting with the paints just to see. See, can you guys see that? Let's see if I can back off of it just a little bit so you guys can see the whole painting. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit more serious of a painting just to see if I could use the paints. Like if I wanted to teach a class or maybe show somebody how to do some different things. I was really kind of testing to see if they would be good for like paint parties, because some of you guys who've been following me know I've kind of been looking for some paints for some parties that I want to start doing. And these are some really economical paints. And I think that they performed really, 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 really well here. The layering was really nice. The color mixing was really nice. I think that I was able to, again, control the paints, put them where I wanted without them running all over the place. I was able to get a really decent black or gray black from mixing the colors. I don't know. They lifted well in the sky when it came to the clouds. The only drawback is that because they are a budget paint, I have no idea how light fast they are. So I'm thinking to myself that on a normal basis, I'm probably going to be painting in a sketchbook with them anyway. And if I do paint something like this after I paint it, it's going to be put up. It's not going to be exposed to any light actually until I take it out to show it to someone or to do something like this as far as doing a review. So I'm not really worried about the paints fading, but I do not believe that they would be anything that, you know, I would want to do a commissioned piece of work with or something that I was going to sell, simply because I have no idea what the light fast information or the pigment information to give me any idea of what the light fast may possibly be. With that being said, that does not take away from the fact that for a beginner-friendly paint, you get 36 colors. They're vibrant and pretty. They pass all of the normal performance tests that you would be looking for a paint to pass. And they're very economical and affordable, because at the time that I ordered that 36 count, if I'm not mistaken, it was like $13, $14. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and link where I got it from in the video description in case you guys decide you want to add these to your resources. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, they aren't like bells and whistles, oh my God type paints. So if you already have paints that are working and performing well, you know, and you just don't necessarily have the need to add these to your collection, not unless you just want them, you know, then I say go for it. But if you have other paints that perform similarly already, and you're trying to be economical, then I would say, you know, these are pass. But if you're a beginner and you're looking for a set of paints that might be, you know, pretty decent, I wouldn't be hesitant about giving these a go. I mean, they perform on the same level of most of your budget beginner level paint palettes that you find on Amazon right now. And mainly we know this because most of them are using the same factories to white label their paints. I have not figured out what these paints are like in comparison to any of the other ones yet. I'm going to do some further tests, and of course when I find out, I'm going to let you guys know. But right now, I say that they're a good buy, you know. Nothing that I would just, they're not expensive. They're like 13, 14 bucks, seriously. Seriously. That's how much they were when I purchased mine, which has been a few months ago. I will say that. I'm going to check the listing on Amazon. And of course, I'm going to attach that to the video, so you'll be able to purchase them at current listed price. But I can't see them being that much. I just really can't see them being that much more. You know what? I want to know. Hold on. Okay, I had to go check really quickly, and the paints are currently $12.99. There you have it. 36, you've seen them. You got to see them be unboxed, swatched. You got to see a demo painting. Here you see the other paintings that I did. And I really wanted to start painting bigger. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't use them in mixed media. So if you're a mixed media artist, I'm not quite sure how the paints are going to perform in mixed media, but I'm pretty sure from what I've seen and the mixed media work that I've done in the past, they're probably going to perform just fine. You know what I mean? In that particular aspect. I did not use them on mixed media paper either. I really did want to stick to testing the paints on watercolor paper and just using the paints for the purpose of this particular video. So at the end of the day, yes, I would definitely recommend the paints, especially for a beginner, or if you want to give them as a set. I think that, give the set as a gift. I think that would be wonderful. I don't think you would be just giving, you know, a bad paint as a gift. Because a lot of times people, when they give paints as gifts, they buy the little dollar store stuff. But for $12.99, this is some pretty decent quality paint, I would have to say, in my opinion, which of course, everything is simply based on my opinion. So yes, I would definitely recommend the paints in some shape, form, or fashion. I mean, if you have paints, don't run out and buy them. But if you want to buy them for somebody, or if you're a beginner and you need a set of paints to start out with, I don't think this is a bad place to start. You can get them on Amazon for $12.99. All right, guys, if anything in this very long video, because I'm sure it was long at this point, was any help to you in any way, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed going along the journey, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and share the video. Remember that both of those is going to help me with growing the channel. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you'll know when new content goes up and you'll be aware. You can check out the Thrifty Apprentice on Facebook as well as Instagram. You can leave your paintings and share them with us, or leave your comments and your experiences on the Facebook Thrifty Apprentice page. I would love to read them. I'm sure the community would as well. And as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, one, I hope you enjoyed this, and two, just keep painting.